104.5 The Team, your home for New York Yankees baseball. Thursday means Buster Olney joins us. Buster, I'm hearing that the Yankees are the bad guys somehow in this Alex Rodriguez saga. Did they handle this wrong?
I think everybody has. And I defy you guys to find one single consistent thread of logic with how anybody has handled this other than going big picture on Alex Rodriguez's career and saying, you know what? You know his time with the Yankees was going to end crazy, right?
Right.
That's the only thing that makes sense. But the way that Joe Girardi has handled it this week with the what he said on Sunday, which he has acknowledged was a mistake, would come out and say, Alex can play in the games in Boston, but then, to follow that up with, I'm trying to win games. Really? Then why did you guys just trade away your two best pitchers and your best hitter? And to talk about, I don't do a farewell tour. Really? 2 years ago, you had Derek Jeter, one of the 5 worst players in baseball in his last year, batting in the number 1 or number 2 hole the whole year, playing shortstop. So, yeah, you have done a farewell tour where you guys were pretending that he was the Wizard of Oz and he could still actually play. Essentially blaming the media for the controversy. And I don't get why it is that Girardi at some point just didn't relent and make the smart political play, especially after Tuesday, and just say, you know what, my bad, guys, I made a mistake with how I've handled this. We're just going to let Alex play because, really, who cares at this point? Then on Alex's part, he was very polite and gracious in the press conference on Sunday, but it's sort of classic Alex. There's some passive-aggressive stuff going on where before the press conference, about a minute before that appears, his comments to one of his Fox colleagues are posted on the Internet in which he makes very clear he's not happy with the Yankee decision. It wasn't his choice. And then during the week, this is, Alex the other day talking about how he's honored that he's going to be working with younger kids and he's going to have a place within the Yankee organization. And on Tuesday and on Wednesday, he's had an opportunity to bail out Girardi by saying, hey, you know what? Whatever Joe decides is fine with me. Did he take that route? No. He came out and basically said, yeah, I'm disappointed. Sources are saying that Alex isn't thrilled with this. Come on. On all sides, the whole thing has become such a ridiculous soap opera with how it's handled.
Buster, is it really up to Girardi, or do you think he's getting pressure from above?
Yeah, I think it's absolutely up to Girardi. I think he absolutely has the, he can handle it any way he wants. And, let's say that if someone was actually, because here's the thing, it is up to Joe because, the fact that the general structure where Hal Steinbrenner agreed to have Alex play his last game on Friday, that seems like that was a mistake initially to give Alex an opportunity to, play in that game and bring his family there. I think that put Joe in a bad spot, but we know that it was his choice because he in a big spot on Wednesday, he pinch hit Alex for Aaron Hicks, who's been struggling. But here's the part again. You can't find any logic in this. On Tuesday, Joe had an opportunity to pinch hit Alex for struggling Aaron Hicks, and he said he wasn't going to because he was trying to win the game. And on Wednesday, he made that exact same move. It's mind-blowing sort of how all over the map they are in this thing.
Will Friday be A-Rod's last game as a pro ball player, Buster? What do you think?
I don't think so. And by the way, 95% chance for rain on Friday. So if you're Joe Girardi, the nightmare might continue into Saturday. No, I think he's going to try to play, and I think that the Miami Marlins make a lot of sense. And I'm not talking about for the rest of this year. I'm talking more about 2017 when he has an opportunity during the winter to lose some of the weight that he's put on. And yeah, it definitely looks like he's put on 10 or 15 pounds during the course of this year, and prepare himself to play first base during the course of the offseason, which he's never really had an opportunity to do. And we've seen how the Marlins invested in Ichiro Suzuki at a time the rest of the industry didn't, and it paid off great for the player and the team. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's what happens with Alex during this offseason. And certainly at this point, the Yankees are going to be a big old chip on his shoulder as he goes through that.
Buster, let's go chaos theory here on 104.5 The Team, your home for Yankee baseball. Is there any logistical chance, let's say they do play Friday night, that A-Rod's a Yankee Friday and a Ray for the rest of the series?
Oh boy, I don't think so. I think that I guess in theory, but Alex has made it clear that he's going to go back to Miami. I just don't think he's in very good shape, and he certainly has demonstrated that he's has not been an effective player for a long time, batting 196 since last August 7th. A calendar year in which he's been bad, and he's 3 for 32 since the middle of July. I really do think Alex is ready to go home, spend time with his daughters. And if he does eventually play again or try to play in spring training with another team, it's going to be after he does some work.
What about the whole Monument Park controversy? Does he belong? What do you think?
I think that Hal was being polite in the way that he answered that, and I understand that, because you don't want to come out in the guys last week and say, no, there's no chance of that happening. But I think you guys and I could probably draw up a list of, 20, 25 other Yankees who probably would be in line before Alex. Guys who are part of the championship teams and in the 20s and the 30s and the 50s and the 60s who would probably be guys who might be more deserving. Because Alex, generally speaking, put the PEDs to the side for a moment. He certainly has had a great run with the Yankees, but it's not like he has done all of his work with the Yankees, and so I don't think they'll ever do that.
Buster Olney with us here on 104.5 The Team, your home for New York Yankees baseball. Oddly enough, there are other players that are finishing their career this year that somehow are making less noise. One of those is even Big Papi. He fouls a ball off his foot last night. It looked terrible, and I've heard you talk about his foot issues. Could that have put a quick hook to his career?
I don't think so. John Farrell came out after the game last night, and he talked about how they don't think that this is something that's going to force him to the disabled list. And I know that they haven't ruled out that he might play this weekend. My guess is that this should just be one more brick on the problems that he's having with his feet and ankles the rest of the year. And if you look at his numbers after the All-Star break, they're a shadow of what they were before the All-Star break. And maybe we should have looked at the numbers before the All-Star break as the aberration, given the fact that David is 40 years old now, and anything they get out of him down the stretch, I'm guessing they'll look at as a bonus.
Let's talk about my Mets as much as I really don't want to. They seem like they seem like they're on sleeping pills. What happened to them?
Well, they lost, so much to injury, and in a couple of cases, regression. I mean, obviously, it feels like that the injury to Matt Harvey pretty much became the first domino that really has taken them out. And then the issues with Matz and the issues with Syndergaard with his elbow. I got to believe at some point here, if they continue to drop, that they'll start to focus on trying to get those guys ready for 2017. So if there's bone spur operation, that could happen. I think David Wright, his situation, because all year they've had to sort of not really find a solution at third base because they are conducting business as if David could be back next year. I think it's a long shot. Lucas Duda falling apart physically, and at first base, those are two power positions. And on top of that, I think under the radar to a degree, Curtis Granderson, who was so phenomenal in the postseason last year. Let's face it, guys, he's kind of a shadow of what he was. And that's going to be one of the big questions for the Mets as they go into 2017. And, can Curtis bounce back? And I think that's part of the reason why they invested in Jay Bruce, was to give them a safety net with Cespedes and with with Curtis.
Buster Olney joins us here on 104.5 The Team. Buster, as the Mets seem to swoon, the Cubs look like they may never lose a baseball game again.
Yeah, as we talk on, speak to you guys on Thursday, we're already talking about magic number for them. Mm-hmm. It's down to 38. They've got their biggest lead in their division, in their league, since 1929. And, they look like that they'll go into the postseason as the favorites to win the World Series. They should be, and I cannot think of a team in the time I've been covering baseball that's going to be under more pressure. So if you're Joe Madden, he's probably right now already lining up all of his magicians and his zoo animals and all the other things he uses to distract players from idiots like me, and to try to save them from the pressure they're going to be under, because it is going to be extreme.
Buster Olney right here on 104.5 The Team. Sad moment yesterday. Prince Fielder hanging it up. There's absolutely no chance he could ever play again?
No. I had John Daniels, the Rangers general manager, in the podcast today, and he told me that at the time they presented him with the surgery, when he got out of it, they said, "Look, you will not be cleared to play baseball again because the way it's technically about how they do the fusion with the discs. That was it, and his career is over." And it's interesting because the other day, again, I think that Rodriguez can be very passive aggressive, and on the other hand, his press conference was on one end of the scale, and on the opposite end of the scale was Prince Fielder, very raw, very real, and you saw the hurt in someone who has never had a moment in his life in which baseball hasn't been a part of it, and he's now had that taken away, and it really was hard to watch.
What a weird year. We're going to lose A-Rod. We're going to lose Tex. We're going to lose, Ortiz. We're going to lose. I mean, it just feels. I can't remember a year when we've lost so many big names in baseball. Yeah, and the Yankees, certainly at the forefront of that because it does feel like it's a transition from one, older group of players into something that at this point is undefined. Where are we going to find Buster Olney on our television this weekend? In Chicago, we've got the Cubs and the Cardinals, and who knows, maybe they'll clinch the division by Sunday. He's Buster Olney. We appreciate his time. Buster, we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Buster.
Okay, guys, take care.
Hey, Buster, before we let you go, I almost forgot the funnest story in baseball right now. Tim Tebow, he's just weeks away from making his Major League debut, right?
Yeah, right. And I do think that his handlers, the people around him, did him a disservice by even letting the phrase Major League Baseball enter into this conversation. Because, look, Tim Tebow has been a phenomenal athlete, but the idea that 11 years after he last played baseball, he's suddenly going to pick it up and potentially be back in the big leagues within a few weeks or, a short period of time, that's insanity to me. Because you think about all the things that, yes, he's taken batting practice in a controlled setting, and he's a big, strong guy, and he's a terrific athlete. But think about all the things that he has no idea about, like how to hit a mid-90s fastball. He has no idea about how to hit a slider, a major league caliber slider, or a breaking ball, or a changeup, or a pitcher using a sequence of pitches from Dellin Betances going 98 fastball to 83 miles per hour breaking ball. He has no idea how to deal with the failure that Major League Baseball players have to learn to deal with over 15 years. Trevor Hoffman, the closer who's going to wind up in the Hall of Fame someday, when I asked him why it didn't work out for him as a shortstop when he was drafted, he said, I couldn't deal with the 0 for 4s. Right. This is someone who pitched under more pressure than anyone in baseball, and he's talking about the pressure of dealing with failure. Tebow has no idea how to do that. And here's the other part that kind of drove me crazy this week in the conversation about Tebow. Everyone was saying, boy, this guy has an unbelievable work ethic, as if there are not hundreds of players in the minor leagues with incredible work ethics who haven't been working like crazy for years to get to the big leagues. And you guys know this, too. Sometimes that sort of work ethic can work against you as a hitter. It's not always more is better in baseball, and I know that he didn't mean to be disrespectful, but it certainly came off that way in terms of suggesting that he could be a major league hitter right away. Would have been a lot better to go under the radar, go play independent ball. If that goes well, then go play winter ball. If that goes well, then sign with a minor league team and see where it takes. And you wish him the best because everyone says he's a great guy.
Yeah, I'd like to see him on a minor league team just to see how the attendance would be.
That'd be fun.
Well, and you know what? I wouldn't blame a team, and I do think that there's a chance that eventually he's going to get a shot. I just think the way that it has sort of emerged is they're not doing him a favor by presenting the expectations. They have not managed expectations is probably the best way to say it.
Buster Olney, he's money. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, guys.